Hello guys, here's the next part of modeling the excavator with Blender 2.8, in which I will create the second arm that can be used to rotate the smaller one like this. I start by duplicating this arm, and then I rotate it 90 degrees and switch to edit mode. For this arm we will also need a connection part for the syringe, but we can get rid of the part at the front. So I select these faces and then I delete them. Oops, I selected too many faces. That's better. And then I go ahead and select these edges here in edge selection mode, and then I press E to extrude. Okay, the part needs to be a bit wider, so I go to face selection and select these faces here, and again press E to extrude them. Then I symmetrize the object along the negative x-axis, but before I do this I should set the origin to geometry. Okay, now let's see how to cut out a part at the front. Perhaps I add an edge loop first, like so, and I could dissolve these edges as well, and then use the primitive mode of my fast carve add-on, add a rectangle primitive, and after that I use this to cut away the part from the arm. So I draw in the rectangle, and the target I will set to the second arm. Then a huge object is created that I subtract by pressing difference. Alright, I see here that the arm is not centered for the x-axis, so I set the x location to 0 in the view panel. Okay, looks good. The next thing I will do is to extrude a small part of the first arm so that we will have enough space at this area for rotating it. What I mean is that it doesn't intersect then with the second arm. I don't need to extrude the face, I can select it and move it to that direction, and then I add another edge loop. Alright, then I move the arm over this part. And as you can see, when we are rotating the arm now, there is no intersection with the second one. Well, at least for our minimum and maximum rotation angles. Great, now I switch again to edit mode and add some bevels to the corners. And after that I go to object mode again and bevel the whole object for a nicer look and feel and shading. The distance between the parts that we will have to connect with a syringe is now about 160 mm. We will see later on if this will fit. If not, we can adjust it easily. The next step is to add holes again to the model to connect the arms. Again, I will use a cutter cylinder, like in the previous parts, and of course my free add-on fast carve to cut into the objects that I define as targets. So I bring the cylinder that I use for cutting to about this location, and then I use difference to cut into the objects. Okay, the holes are cut. Now let's have a look at this in edit mode, and we can dissolve all these edges now in the middle of the mesh. Okay, at this part of the mesh we will need a kind of arc that is going downwards. But the real shape for this I will define in the next part. I just add this to have an impression on how to continue modeling at this area. Alright, then I select this connection part and bring it a bit upwards like this. And after that I will create a connection for the first arm at the top. To do this I add a new edge loop and move out a face and add a bevel to model a round corner. And after I completed this I will cut again a hole into the mesh at this location. Okay, we are almost done. The last thing we need is 2 connectors with holes so that we can connect the push head of the syringe. And for this I just grab an existing object, move it to a matching position. Then I set the origin and rotate it like that. And after that I go to edit mode and adjust the size of this mesh. Okay, then I go back to object mode and mirror this object, and this is where I stop the video now. In the next part we will finish modeling the arm. So guys, I really hope you liked this model and this series. I guess I will need 2 or 3 more parts to complete it. In the next Blender modeling video we will again create a low poly mesh. So stay tuned, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Perhaps you consider supporting me as my patron, this would really help a lot. And if you have any questions or ideas, add these to the comments below. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you on JNM.